E3, Excellent Education for Everyone, Leaders in Urban Education Reform.
Good evening, my name is Jenkins. I'm Father Ed, so kindly gave me the title of a graduate of St. Benedict's 1981. It kind of tell you how old I am. I'm really excited about being here this evening, and one of the things at E3, I don't know if you know anything about E3, but we're an advocacy organization that's focused on empowering parents and engaging parents on the issues of urban education reform in the state of New Jersey and around the country. I just wanted to give you that brief commercial. And I just wanted to have Chrissy Davis-Jackson, our CEO and President, say some greeting words to you, if that's okay.
Good evening. It was cold and rainy. I was out in it all day, so I know the little extra push that it took to be here this evening, and I want to thank you. I'm from Ohio and came here to go to law school and just fell in love with Newark. And can't imagine myself not being drawn back to this city. And so we started what is going to be a series of parent engagement conversations here in Newark, which we think is sort of ground zero in the whole conversation concerning education choice in this state and this region.
I want to ask all of y'all to kind of relax, be at home with us, and do the best you can. I don't want y'all to be nervous. I want you to just have fun. Okay, this is a time for us to just talk and dialogue and know that we are making a difference, because these comments are going to be important. In doing so, and I'm going to ask, I'm going to start here with some folks that I actually know, but at the same time, I'm going to act like I don't know them. And I'm going to ask you to kind of go around the room. Once you give us like a minute or less on who you are, your children that you have in the system, if they're in this school or any other system, okay? And give us one thing that you think is important that parents do to make a difference in their children's lives. One thing that parents need to do to make a difference in their children's lives.
We have to be supportive of our children, and making sure that they're constantly doing their homework, they're on time, they're organized, and just making sure that they understand what the rules and regulations are within the school, and what it is a privilege to be here at St. Benedict's.
My son, he's in the 8th grade at Robertson Academy, and I think we have to support our children. We have to teach them our family values, and we have to make sure that they are committed to the school where they go and do their homework and all the assignments they have to do. And we have to make sure that they feel like the parents we are with them, that they can rely on us no matter what.
My son Jonathan was a beginner.
Beginner was that a freshman?
A freshman.
Okay.
A freshman. I'm fortunate that he is on the honor roll, so I'm very happy with that. To me, the most important thing with children is active listening. Unless you actively listen to what they're saying, you're quite possibly going to miss something, and what you miss is what may lead them astray. So for me, active listening is the most important thing.
Is there much dialogue going on between mom and dads about the child's education? Do you have like a discussion or a meeting about this besides when something goes wrong?
We do. We don't agree on things. I feel like, I know my son's personality. He's very timid. I don't think he would have flourished in the public school system. So to me, when we moved from Florida, it was a priority to get him into the school.
You all chose a great school. Close your eyes and imagine if your child had attended another situation, like had attended a public school in the area. How would that have changed, or would it have changed your approach in terms of you're all very hands-on, fantastic parents. Would that have engaged you differently had your child had no other choice? Because you obviously had choice, you're informed parents, but you recognize that you're probably a minority of parents in the city that have these choices for a variety of reasons. Had your child not had the choice of St. Benedict's, how would that have changed you as a parent?
One reason why I like Catholic school and the structure, you're paying for it, but that's money
well spent because I can't be there all the time. So it's helping me out as well. I don't have to worry too much. If you went to public school in Newark, to go to public school anywhere, you have to be very secure about yourself as an individual. But that's how it was when I was in public high school. But nowadays, the kids and what they're exposed to and what they're into is bizarre. So it's too much focus on other stuff and less focus on education. And that's not so much the children's fault. I do not like North School Board of Education. I don't like the structure. I don't like the way it's set up. I don't like the way they teach. I don't like what they're focused on. They're very unorganized. And that was another reason why he was not going to be ever in the North Public School system.
You ladies are safe parents, right? You ladies understand school choice. You're engaged in your children's lives, and we're at St. Benedict's, and it's just wonderful. You know, I'm a graduate of St. Benedict's Preparatory Schools all my life. I get it. And, you know, talking about what we're talking about is something that we go through in our daily lives, and you ladies are more prepared to have that discussion. But there are a lot of parents out there in public school, you know, which probably is not your issue, but it really is our issue. And it impacts our quality of life, it impacts the future of our children in our communities where we all live at. And, you know, it's really safe, because we're in a safe haven now to ask you a lot of the questions that are impacting your children's lives that are really at this level. One of the things I'm trying to get at, you know, as parents like yourself, as a parent, are you prepared to help other parents in public schools? Are you prepared to talk to other parents in your community? Are you prepared to talk to other young men and women in your community about the value of education? You know, and one of the things about school choice, well, there's a statement in the question. One of the things that happens when we have these kind of conversations, we have them from where we are, where we sit. You know, and we sit in a really good place in here. But the question was, and before my statement, are you prepared as parents to work with organizations in your community to really talk about what your experience is that will allow them to start looking at why they should value education, why they should look at how they can work in their communities to help other kids, just like, you know, you service through your convocation and your groups. Are you willing to do that?
I will be willing to speak to people because I'm already used to it.
Yes,
I have family members that are in the public schools, and my daughter worked so hard to get where she is now. I'm a proud parent of a salutatorian from the class of 2012, and she would ask me, Mom, how come they get to go outside? How come my cousins don't have a lot of homework? Why are they always outside? And those are my relatives that are in the public school. A lot of times, okay, my sister did care about the kids' education, but if he came home and he didn't have any homework, he had free time. So he had more time to see TV, more time to go out and play outside, and his grades were not as good. So I have parents that I'm willing to speak to because they want to know how my daughter's doing in boarding school. So we did discuss about having a little panel like we're having now, just to give them advice, to give them an idea, and to give them feedback as to what the difference is and why it's helpful for some kids and what do they benefit from.
Before we get a closing comment from all of you, I'll tell you a little bit about something called Parent Trigger. And that's our special guest all the way from California to be with us today, and just got off the plane today to share, be part of her work in this area during her group with the Parent Revolution. And you'll give them a brief, short version, and we'll tell you about what's happening here in New Jersey. We're kind of I'm going to make a challenge to you on our closing comments.
Thank you. I'm really just honored to be here today. Really just here to listen, and I think as Kevin started to talk about, it's such a special place here, right? Like hearing the young men, it just really, I feel like my heart's happy, you know? But I also know that that's not the reality everywhere. And the joy you guys feel for the young men that you guys are raising and the young women that you guys are raising, it's not what some people are very terrified of what's happening at their schools, and a lot of people are it's a big headache.
How about triggering? That's where
Yeah. So
because
of that, the organization that I work with, we are working to talk to parents, to engage parents, to empower parents with a law that is called the Parent Trigger Law, that basically if your child is at a failing school, if the school has been failing the community for a number of years, the parents can come together and organize. And if 50% of the parents come together at any one school to organize, then they can forcibly change the school in a number of different ways, whether that be changing the leadership, whether that be converting into a charter school, or reconstituting the staff, so changing some of the staff or other options, or negotiating to get a better school. And so that's the work that we're starting, and we're partnering with E3 to be here, and really today was just an opportunity for us to come and listen.
I'm going to ask each parent and young person, representative of the school, what do we need to do different to make this quality school, quality education, this good experience, this most important, tomorrow leaders be in a good place? What's your wish? I mean, if you were in charge, you running the world, what's the one thing, what do you want to see happening? One thing, you got 30 seconds to do it. Yes.
Improve on the technology.
Improve on the technology.
Improve on the technology.
Do you think the schools are lacking technology?
I do.
Okay, all right, I'm going to take that. Next.
I agree. I think there should be more communication via technology now that so many people have iPhones and internet on their phones. Maybe the schools can come up with some type of mass media to get the parents more involved and invite them to come in and speak and say, their visions of what they see can improve the school.
Oh, so you think the technology would have to even engage the parents? Okay, I got that.
Parents, school
all right.
And students.
All right, okay, yes.
I think that the parents will have to be more involved in the education of our children.
Just in general, okay. Where are those dads? There ain't no dads here tonight. I'm upset about that. Yes.
I think my favorite word is accountability. So I'd like to see schools accountable, parents accountable, society accountable for what we're doing with our children.
Yes, sir. You get the same question.
You mentioned the wish. My wish is more for the students and the young people. I wish that every student and young person can see how valuable education is the way a lot of the parents and even some of the students like myself see it. Because me wanting to be a teacher, I take my education very, very seriously. And I know a few people that if they took their education as seriously as a few of us young people do, they'd be a lot farther in life.
Yes. Thank you. Next.
I would say start with the curriculum, improve the curriculum, stop teaching to standardized testing and actually teach the children.
And I think I'd like to see parents more involved, but I'd also like to see, I know sometimes schools with the funding, they may not have it to keep getting technology and the new books, but a part of that is also the apathetic teachers. It's a teacher that's involved, that shows concern, can spark a child. And if they're apathetic and they don't want to be there, the children aren't going to want to be there either.
Yes. Next. Thank you.
I would like for parents, teachers, and administration to know that education is not a privilege but a right, and all children of all school districts should have the same equal educational opportunity, nor should match limited, which it does not, as far as the academics and everything across the board. And I also agree to what she just said as well. But yeah, I'm not just going to claim.
That was
well, you were hot. You were Thank you, Barry.
I'd like to add the word empowerment. Parents are so important to this equation of education, and we really need to stand up. It's time. It's so past time for us to really be front and center. So let me just add my thanks, and I want you to thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. This is an area that I work in all the time. To have other people join the fight is wonderful. Especially
well, right now we just asked them to join the discussion.
It's a fight, and they know it's a fight. We're all in.
A role of
what everyone else was talking about, I like the idea of the student government, teaching the students at this age that they have to take responsibility for themselves and for their actions, how life is really going to be when they get out of school.
Civics.
I really
They probably don't call it that anymore.
They don't.
Yes, sir.
Parents are obviously really important to the equation, but I know for me, I think there's a sense of negativity, especially in urban areas. And I don't want people to act like everything's peachy because it's not. But I think if students had more examples of success stories instead of guys who failed, guys who got killed, whatever, I think if we put more light, shed more light onto the success, then students would be more inspired because they already have enough negative influences.
You hit the nail right on the head. There needs to be a teacher there to show interest. I think that's at Benedicts, that's what we have. Every teacher I know here has that. I think there needs to be an opposition from everybody to just achieve everything they can in this world and through education.
Thank you. Next.
I believe that every student just deserves a chance, an opportunity to achieve whatever he sets out to do. Coming here, I know gave me the courage to do what I want to do to achieve my dreams. And I believe that if every student had the same opportunity, the same chance, that they'd be a lot more inspired to do things right, along with what Raheem said about negativity and being more positive and motivating. I think that if teachers were more motivating, parents were more motivating, that everybody would just take their opportunity more seriously.
Thank you. Next.
I think something that is greatly important for any human being is to see whatever that you're in, work or school, whatever community is a passion for whatever is going on. All of us know that if we ever been in a situation where everybody felt the same about something, it got done. Whatever obstacle that came in their way, regardless of what it was, it got done. And I think that's something that people need to grasp. Again, it's not easy, but to have a common goal, a love for it, a passion for it, and for everyone to have the same attitude can help progress. Even those who may not feel the same at first can empower many more to do the same.
Thank you. Chrissy Davis Jackson, if you want to take a few minutes and say whatever it is you want to use as a closing.
I will say that I am inspired by listening to the parents. I wish we had less moderating and more parent talking. And I love the opportunity to spend more time speaking with you, because I think in your toolkit we have the possibility for greater advocacy in our urban centers. I want to thank all of the community partners that are here at the Catholic Conference. And Father Ed, we could not be here, obviously. He gave us a home for the evening, and we thank him for that. I'm going to give it over to Kevin Jenkins, who was inspired to make parent engagement a priority at E3. And he's going to leave you with a challenge. So you're not going to get to eat before he challenges you to do something, just letting you know.
Chrissy's putting me on notice, but I always like to leave our discussions with a challenge. But I got to tell you, I'm really excited that we had this happen this evening. And you gave us a challenge also to continue our work, because it can be very tough at times. And sometimes we hit the mark and sometimes we don't. But to have you come out this evening in the cold weather and a rainy day was very encouraging. And I'm very proud to be a part of the St. Benedict's family. Could have never gotten this done without, Father Ed and the men at St. Benedict's and the women that run the men, by the way. But this is interesting. I was saying this the other day to Christy and Al. This is a historical year for us. We're celebrating, I think, the 150th year of the Emancipation Proclamation. We're celebrating the 50th year of the I Have a Dream speech. We are presently, very elated that we've elected the first African-American president for a second time. And we still have kids in our school that are failing. we still have a mass incarceration rate that should frighten all of us, be it man or woman. We have a number of our kids that are dropping out, and probably 50% of our community will never work, will never have a job. So, you know, to have parents like you that are highly engaged, that are functioning in your children's lives, no matter what the circumstances are, because none of our circumstances are perfect. You're paying tuition, you're getting up every day, you're worrying about your child, you're trying to conduct yourself at the highest level. And, you know, there's a scary time in our history right now. But outside these doors, there are schools, there are children, there are families. They're dying because they don't have an effective family like yours, or they don't have the opportunity to understand the value of education. You've created a culture of success in your households. But I think you said something earlier, Mary, about what's on top of that door at St. Benedict's. You know, what hurts me hurts my brother. And I want to give you that challenge. What hurts those children, what hurts those families, we should take that same mantra and take it out there into our communities. So I would really like to call each and every one of you the next week to ask you to become parent organizers for us, to work to bring other parents in this room. I think that the discussion that we should have should be really bold about how we create a different kind of community for ourselves. And education is the only way. If nothing will change. That's why they're all here. That's why they talk about being a family, talk about being a group, talk about taking responsibility. Well, that's a model that all of our communities should be engaged in. Every last one of them. White kids, black kids, Puerto Rican kids, Mexican kids. You know, this is a global school, so we should be embracing that, and we should be taking responsibility for that, and we should not be hiding from that. So I would really like to pose that challenge, that you will commit yourself to take that story out there, right, to help us change education as we know. Thank you, Ray.